8th Democratic District like where we find ourselves today. So thankfully, in the Democratic primary on June 23rd of 2020, for the first time in 30 years, we will have a choice. Woo! It is a choice between action and inaction. It is a choice between saving our democracy by returning power to the people, or leaving power in the hands of corporations and the politicians who depend on their money. It is a choice between a sustainable economy built on renewable energy, or trillions of dollars in lost economic growth resulting from climate chaos. It is a choice between exploitation and extraction, or purpose and principle. To me, and I think to all of you here today, the choice is clear. And the Green New Deal provides us with a comprehensive platform necessary to make the choice of action. When I'm elected to Congress, the Green New Deal will be my top priority. Right on! Because if we don't have a planet we can live on, we can't get the other stuff done. That's right! My campaign stands in solidarity with each of the 3 core pillars of the Green New Deal. First, climate action. We must end our dependence on carbon and make massive investments in a sustainable national infrastructure. Second, climate justice. Oh yes. From frontline communities right here in Peekskill, which suffer disproportionate harm from climate change, to the environmental racism of air and water pollution in cities like Flint and in Newark, New Jersey. Yes. To human migration caused by climate change. To what is at stake for young people right here today and their future. Climate justice must be part of our response to climate change. Am I right? Yes! Third, equity. Our transition to a post-fossil fuel economy must be a just transition. That means that protections for workers, education and jobs training, and universal health care for every American is a must. While some elected officials may say they support the name Green New Deal, we need to be sure that we have leaders in office who won't allow it to be watered down by corporate interests or their corporate donors. We need leaders who will fight to decarbonize our economy, who will fight for genuine justice like our lives depend on it, because they do.
Register to vote!
Register to vote. Like you, I know our choice is clear. I choose a livable, sustainable future for all of us in Westchester and in Rockland counties, across this country and around the world. And I am ready to fight for that future right here with you today and moving forward. And I want you on my team, because going up against powerful corporate interests and powerful folks in Congress who've been around for a long time is not easy. So sign up to volunteer at mondareforcongress.com, MONDAIRE for Congress.com, and check out, me or someone in my t-shirt today, Mondare Jones for Congress, and sign up to volunteer, because I need you. I'm so glad to be fighting alongside you, and together I know we're going to get this thing done. Thank you.
I want to turn it back over to our young people, so if I could have Josephine and Micah come forward. So Josephine Foley Headland and Micah Morales are both 7th graders at Haldane, and they're here to speak with us today. Take a couple steps forward.
Woo! Yeah! Our speech today is directed directly to Senator Schumer. Hello, my name is Josephine Foley Headland. And my name is Mike Morales, and today we are striking for not only our future, but the future of the younger generations now and to come. Dear Senator Schumer, we are asking you to work to declare a national climate emergency. We need you to stop talking and start acting. Use your words and opinions for good. Scientists have said that we have 10 years before the effects of climate change are irreversible. But now they're saying that at the rate we are going, we only have 18 months before our planet will be severely damaged. This is no comic book where you can stop reading and suddenly do not have to deal with all the problems of the story. The snooze button is not an option. So it's time to act, and we need you to act. You have the power to support the resolution that has been put forward by Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders for the declaration of a climate national emergency, which is one of the first steps to moving forward with the Green New Deal. If we were to declare our current situation a national climate emergency, we would be able to put more funding, resources, and labor towards climate change to mitigate effects, stop CO2 emissions, and slow down the climate crisis. We need this legislation. Your children need it, the millennials, the Gen Z, the iGen, and the generations to come all need it so that the world they grow up in is a healthy, hospitable place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josephine and Micah. And I do want to mention that on October 3rd at Mariondale, there is a Green New Deal event. So for folks that maybe don't know a lot about it, they want to learn more so that they can be informed voters in the upcoming elections. You can find the listings online for the event through Action Network. What's the official title, Paula? Green New Deal, what you need to know?
Learn about the Green New Deal.
Learn about the Green New Deal. So if you Google that in Mariondale, you can find out about it. Join us on October 3rd, 7 to 9 p.m. at Mariondale in Ossining. Doors open at 6:30. Thank you. So next up, I would like to introduce Michelle Keller. She's joining us from the Afl-Cio, District Council 37, New York. They've got 145,000 members between New York City and up here in Croton. So thank you, Michelle, for coming out today and standing in solidarity with us.
Thank you so much. I'm getting ready to run and go downtown where we will join the movement of this day. Thank you so much for being here. And as we said, it all starts with our young people. You know, they say in the Bible, treat a child and the child comes back to you. This is what we have to do. And they are teaching us. I just finished Labor Day. Labor Day was last week. Yeah, we're out in the street. Change your shoes every so often and get back out there so you can be recognized. These signs are good because it gives you a louder voice. But it also speaks to the public, and it also speaks to the press. We're blessed. We are. But it's a fight that we have to continue. You know, we heard about all these categories. I'm at least three of them. I am a sister. I am aged 65 years of age as of last Wednesday. And finally, I'm retired. Thank God for that pension that the unions have gone out there and fought for. But it's a constant fight. That's what it is. A constant fight. So I am so grateful to be here today. Let me say this to you. And it kind of goes like this. A people united can never be defeated. Let's hear it. A people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be defeated. So what do we want? Climate justice. And when do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! What do we want it? Now! So what do we want? Climate justice! And when do we want it? Now! So when do we want it? Now! And when do we want it? Now! And when do we want it? Now! Get this job done. Thank you so much.
Michelle. I have another announcement for another upcoming event on Sunday, October 13th from 1 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon. It's Earth to Cuomo, the rally for New York's climate. I'll be one of the speakers there, but there's going to be folks fighting fossil fuel fights all across the Hudson Valley, Cricket Valley Energy Fracked Gas Power Plant, Competitive Power Ventures Fracked Gas Power Plant, Dan Scammer. You know, we may have banned fracking here in New York, but we are being inundated by fracked gas infrastructure. We have, yes, boo. We have the Algonquin pipeline running underneath Indian Point nuclear power plant right here. The pipeline runs through Peekskill. Once the pipeline comes, then come the fracked gas power plants. We do not need that in this environmental justice community. So environmental justice communities from across the state are standing together in Poughkeepsie, October 13th. You can Google Earth to Cuomo and you'll find all that information. So next up, I would like to invite Nick Davis from Ossining High School, who is a member of the Westchester County Youth Council, and Annalyn DeMarco from White Plains High School, who is another member of the Westchester County Youth Council, to speak with us today. Nick and Annalyn.
My name is Nicholas Davis, and I'm a sophomore at Ossining High School.
I'm Annalyn DeMarco, and I'm a junior at White Plains High School.
And we are here on the behalf of Westchester County Youth Council. We are a group of diverse and well-educated young people who advocate for youth in the county. To do this, we advocate for solutions to some of the problems facing young people in Westchester. We young people know about the American government. Students spend a lot of time studying it, and we are very familiar with what it is set up to do. First and foremost, a government is supposed to offer protection to all people who are being governed. But the government is not doing its job.
No.
We are tired of our elected officials not taking care of serious problems when there are solutions. The climate crisis is a serious problem. And an Earth that we cannot live on is not a science fiction movie. This is something that will impact us dramatically in our lifetimes. We do not need to imagine losing natural resources. We do not need to imagine habitats being destroyed and animals becoming extinct. We do not need to imagine natural disasters making it harder and harder for people to live their lives. And we do not need to imagine a government protecting corporations so they can continue to do whatever they want in order to make more money. Even when the people running those corporations have more than enough. We do not need to imagine any of this because we are already living in it.
So, all of us here recognize the disastrous problem at hand. But we are here together because our government does not. Congress needs to take on this problem, to take responsibility for the destruction of our planet. Congress needs to pass the Green New Deal, move towards renewable energy, and move away from fossil fuels and coal. They need to reduce plastic. It is not enough to just enact reforms to stop the negative effects that climate change will have on our community. We must be active in helping communities that have been disproportionately affected by this problem, such as people in poverty and people of color. These communities bear the brunt of negative effects of climate change.
And we must remember that solutions to climate change have to be intersectional. Our government must protect everyone.
So until Congress does what must be done, the youth will continue to carry this burden. We will continue to march. We will continue to be furious. We will continue to pledge to birth strikes. We will continue to boycott whatever needs to be boycotted. We will continue to join youth groups and be involved in politics. We will continue to stand up for ourselves because nobody else will. To all of the youth activists here today, never stop fighting, never give up. about yourself. And if someone tells you to wait, speed up. And if someone tells you to be quiet, shout.
Yes!
If someone tells you to stop, fight harder.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nick and Annalyn. Our next speaker, another student, this time from the Westchester County Junior Youth Council, Layla Andrade. Layla, are you here?
Layla!
All right, Layla is from White Plains High School, and she's a member of the Westchester County Junior Youth Council.
Hi, my name is Layla Andrade, and I'm a freshman at the White Plains High School. I'm part of the Westchester County Junior Youth Council, and we fight for people like you who believe in stuff like us, who believe in climate justice, who believe in speaking for what they believe in. We are scared for the future of our planet, and so are you. Some people are still asking if climate change is fact or fiction. Well, let us spell it out for them. It's fact. If we don't change our habits now, we have no chance at survival. The temperatures on Earth have increased approximately 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit in the past since the early 20th century. That may seem like nothing because it's not even 2 degrees, but this is the entire Earth we are talking about. The entire average temperature of the Earth, and that has increased by almost 2 degrees in only 119 years. Do me a favor and close your eyes and imagine a tiger. Its beautiful fur and adorable face. Then a sea turtle that's swimming around in the waves. They will be dead. They will be gone if we don't change what we are doing. We will not be seeing them in real life anymore if we continue on this path. So remember that picture. We need the government to admit we are in a crisis because we are in a crisis. Woo! The government needs to take action. They need to make fossil fuels illegal. They have to make renewable energy more accessible. They need to shut down greedy corporations that do nothing but continue to destroy our planet. Kids are important to this cause because we are going to be the ones stuck cleaning up this mess. We got this. We can fix it, but we need your help.
Thank you so much, Layla. Our next speaker is Charlie Davenport. He was a longtime Peekskill resident, mail carrier here. Also, now just is like a climate justice fighter, pipeline fighter, frack gas power plant fighter, and he's going to talk to us about Cricket Valley Energy, which is the newest, worst frack gas power plant coming to the Hudson Valley. Thank you, Charlie.
All right.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank all of you for showing up here. And I'm not going to talk to you about Cricket Valley Energy directly. I'm going to talk to you. You're all here because we're involved in a worldwide fight.
Yeah.
We're all here involved because we're involved in a national fight. We're all here because we're involved in a state fight. And we're all here because we're involved in a local fight. And here's how we fight. Students, on the local level, you all go to schools. These schools use electricity. They use electricity so you can run your computers, so you can run your lights. Go to your local school board. Say, local school board, I want you to buy electricity from renewable sources.
Yeah.
And when they buy electricity from renewable sources, we say, school board, I want my school buses and all school vehicles to be electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And then when we have our electric vehicles and are buying electricity from renewable sources, we say, school board, we don't want heat that is using fossil fuels. We want you to put in a heat pump to heat our schools. And now, locally, who isn't a student here? How many adult voters do we have here? Let's hear it. Yeah. You all have local governments. A couple of these local governments, Peekskill being one of them, have declared climate emergencies. All right, so you go to your local government, say we have an emergency, whether it's Peekskill or any place else. You buy your electricity from renewable sources. Yeah. You buy your vehicles, make your vehicles electric vehicles. You put in heat pumps in your buildings. Now this is going to do two things. First of all, you're going to be using less fossil fuel, putting less carbon in the atmosphere. Second of all, you're going to be cutting the profit out of the natural gas and fossil fuel industries. They're already losing. They can't compete with the sun, and they can't compete with the wind. Let's do it. Thank you.
Our next and second to last speaker is Mauricio Wambana, who is a immigrant rights activist here in Westchester County. Mauricio,
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Good morning. Y muy buenos días a todos. Thank you, everyone, for being here today at such an important event as this one, which pertains to our climate crisis. Many of you know me as an immigrant rights activist and advocate. So you may be asking, naturally, what am I doing here today? This has nothing to do with immigrant rights. It has to do with our planet, right? When you step back and analyze at the whole scope of our climate crisis around the world, you realize that migration is deeply interrelated with climate change. Here's how. With our climate increasing only 2 or 3 degrees in Fahrenheit produced by our emission of greenhouse gases, the world and us, because sometimes I think we forget that we are part of the world, especially when it comes to climate change. We will face extreme droughts, intense hurricanes, high levels of floods, rigorous heat waves, fierce wildfires, and sea level risings, due to a disequilibrium in our ecosystem and nature. Again, caused by only 2 or 3 degrees increase in our climate. Furthermore, we will inevitably have a result of scarcity of food, resource, economic decline, and last but not least, an uninhabitable environment, which will undoubtedly lead to migration or mass migration, forcing people all over the world to relocate from their homes. So we should remember this next time we see groups of migrants traveling or reestablishing themselves in other parts of the world. It's due to our climate crisis, and we play a role in it. So we cannot and we must not forget this, because if we do not change the way we treat our planet, the United States is one of the countries that will most severely be affected by climate change, which means one day we could be in the same shoes of our brothers and sisters that are right now, looking for a better future. And to all the politicians and the government officials that do not concur with these facts and realities, and believe that these events are far from distant, I say to them, if you do not believe us, then ask California, the Amazon in the Sub-Sahara, in Africa of their wildfire, or Louisiana of its sea level rising, or Florida, Puerto Rico, or the Caribbean islands of their horrific hurricanes. So I ask you guys today, are we going to stand here idly, doing nothing, hopelessly, or are we going to demand for change? Right? Because we cannot be this selfish to ourselves and to our generations that are to come, because this will affect us, our children, and our grandchildren that are to come. So we need change, and we need it now.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mauricio, for coming today, and thank you for the work you do the other 364 days a year. I really appreciate it. So that's the, unless anyone from the Nurses Association is here to speak, then I think that was our last speaker. And I would like to close by asking Sister Betty Ann Jaster, who was part of our planning committee, to come up. She's a sister with Marion Dale, but also Healing and Protecting Our Lands Together, which basically is bringing spirituality to the climate fight. So I'd like her to just end today for us with on a positive note and a blessing that we all go forward and really take the energy that we got today and put it into our fight to save the planet and save the climate.
It's wonderful to be here with so many of us gathered to raise our voices and take a stand. We're inspired by the young folks who've been working at this in their own lives and are challenging us to do more. We can all do more, take new steps. I come from a philosophy and a spirituality that helps us draw attention to the natural world. So as a way of winding this up, I'd like to have us take a few moments of just a little bit of silence to be aware of where we're standing. Realize the asphalt that we're standing on and the trees that we're facing and being surrounded by. The beautiful clear sky and bright sun. The air that we breathe. This county is known as having some of the worst air because of fossil fuels and other things that are spewing their poison among us. So we need to be conscious of what's affecting the beauty that we see, the beauty that we want to hold on to, that we want to support and grow. So I invite you to pay attention to the natural world, wherever you trod, every day to wake up and be grateful for another day, but another day to speak up, speak out, take steps, new steps, go where you haven't gone before, to make a difference, to make change real and active in our lives. So just pay attention, because attention is what's lacking a lot of times. We hide in our cell phones and in the TV and partying, which is, it's great at times, but the thing is, we need to pay attention to what's at risk, what every day is facing us if we don't pay attention. So encourage one another to step away from usual once in a while and let that grow so that we can realize where we are, where we're going if we don't act, and choose life. Choose life that we all may live. The people in the faraway lands who every day face water shortages, trees being torn down, wildfires, flooding, the opposites in different places. There's dryland farmers who already don't have much water, but they're having less. Other places have too much water. The crops are dying. So there's so many things we need to pay attention to, but find ways of learning what's going on and realizing that each one of us can make a difference, no matter what our age. There's a sign right here that says, "Be nice." You want to hold up your sign, honey? That's the simple basics from a young child. There's another one. You want to hold up your sign? Kids will save the planet for babies. Save the planet. From the mouths of babes comes wisdom. So wisdom can come from any place. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket or how much you don't. But we all can learn by being more simple, having less expectations for the new thing on the block. Care enough to invite others to pay attention. And finally, I'd like to invite anybody who'd like to attend the Green New Deal gathering that we're having on Thursday evening, October 3rd, 7 to 9, and the doors open at 6:30. But you will be able to hear stories of people in those situations that have caused the climate to deteriorate. We want to stop that before it's too late, and each one of us can do something. So dare to take new steps. Look out at the fresh day every day and know that you have another opportunity, because we all fall short sometimes. But take new steps and encourage each other to do the same. Blessings to one and all. Thanks. Amen.
We're going to wrap up. I just want to remind everybody, if you have not signed the card for Senator Schumer with your climate demand, now's your last chance, because could I have the kids who are going to help us deliver demands come up and join me here? We're going to bring those cards signed by all of us into the senator's office at the conclusion of our rally, so that he can take those messages, he will get our messages, and then take those to Washington.
Henry.
So last chance to sign that. The other thing is, some of us are going to be gathering at the Blue Pig in Croton. And there will be more, we have more Croton students speaking, but also action items and steps that people can take. All of our young people, don't forget to register to vote, and tell people that you know to register to vote. But if you're out here today on this street corner, you know that voting is not enough. We need to basically overhaul our entire society and our way of doing business in Washington. We need to get fossil fuel money out, and we need the interests of the people in. So we need to keep holding our elected officials accountable and to basically force them to do the right thing. Because we don't have millions of dollars from selling fossil fuels and poisoning one another like the fossil fuel companies do. You know, call your elected officials, all those things. And yeah, it's awesome. We need to do individual steps. We need to recycle. We need to reduce our use, really. We need to stop consuming. But that's not enough. Me driving an electric car and using a reusable straw is not going to save the earth, people. We need to stop burning fossil fuels. And it doesn't matter how many plastic straws we save. The earth is not going to survive if we do not overthrow the fossil fuel interests in America. So I encourage you, wherever you're from, get involved in your local fights. I want to thank the groups that co-sponsored with us. Get involved with them. They are doing the boots on the ground work to make this happen. That's Safe Energy Rights Group, Croton Climate Initiative, Resist Spectra, Healing and Protecting Our Lands Together, Stop the Algonquin Pipeline Expansion, Lower Hudson Sierra Group, and Mothers Out Front, just to name a few. There's a lot of work to be done, but there's a lot of us here today. We can get it done. So I want to encourage everybody, you know, if you've got pictures, tweet them out. Climate Strike, hashtag Climate Strike, hashtag Strike With Us. I would really love to get a photo of all of our speakers. If all of our speakers could gather in front of this sign, and we want all Peekskill High School students, Peekskill High School students, we want you to gather around this sign. Our house is on fire, for a picture, because we know a lot of you came out today and we want to document this. Parents who brought little kids, props. Thank you. Thank you for helping them to find their voice. So with that, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank you so much for striking with us, and take this energy and keep going. Thank you.
Yep, so these speakers here, if you guys want to do the Peekskill one,
I was actually going to
Leave it by the car.
Woo! yet. Sure. Okay. I think so. Josie and Micah, you should come over where you Eric, there's a lot of them. Are you students?
I have Hey, so I have to. I'm going to take it.
Thank you for sending me that. Can we help you put it forward? I can bring these ones.